Thank you, Governor, and thank you, First Lady. Recovery Elevator is excited to be here, and we appreciate the opportunity to participate and share these amazing stories. So let's get into it. Nate, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you live, what you do for a living, family, pets, and most importantly, what do you like to do for fun, Nate?
My name is Nate Espinoza. I am a Grand Forks resident. Love Grand Forks. I am a UND master's major in the social work program, where my social work is at. I am a case manager at our local shelter, Northlands Rescue Mission, and I am a care coordinator through Hope Church here in town.
And what do you like to do for fun, Nate?
Oh man, I love to stay busy. Longboard, you guys might almost run over me all over town. Rollerblade, but build community, man. I love to peer support. I really do. That's
awesome, Nate. Nate and I did a little pre-interview before the interview, and in that we talked about how Nate's a North Dakota transplant from Texas, and we're glad that you're home now, Nate. You're an asset to this community. You had some troubles in Texas, and you came up to North Dakota for a fresh start. You wanted to come to school. What did that look like for you? Let's talk about that transplant and what that looked like.
It was amazing because I came in the fall for a semester, and yeah, it was an amazing reset. North Dakota nice. I know our Olympic medalist noticed that when she came here, but it is true, it is real. I came with a little different vernacular from a different culture, but I felt embraced immediately, and one of my first things coming here was to be on campus, and I expected to have to make my way in and fit in, and that wasn't the case. I was able to be embraced just as I came.
Well, that's awesome. That's good. North Dakota nice is a thing.
Amen.
What about, let's talk about the tougher part. Nate, did your addiction come with you to North Dakota?
Yes, it did. I mean, I had hit reset. I was doing quite well, but North Dakota nice is everywhere, and unfortunately for me, I found it through a community and just walking into a bar and meeting a lot of former underclassmen, and that is where a lot of my initial community came from. And yeah, so I immediately gained a job bartending and doing some security, but more than that, I was just drinking a lot. It was a party. I mean, my classmates I thought it was normal, right? We're all here, work hard, play hard, right? But some people don't. They play so hard that you can't work, and that was me. My classmates got up and went to class. I was still drinking. Like they were graduating and moving on, and I just seemed to be spinning wheels. And it didn't take too long, 2 semesters, and I was actually academically expelled.
Yeah, that's tough, and it can be a part of that culture of that age as we're growing and figuring things out. But about that academic expulsion, there was one thing that you were able to retain as a result of that academic expulsion, and let's go into that.
Yeah, well, that is exactly what President Armacost was talking about, and that is just the support system. I did lose most of my rights as a student, but the counseling center was available to me because of how I was being asked to leave, and that was a courtesy. But one that I didn't want to take then, it took me a little bit when I was academically expelled. I was flapping in the wind, trying to do it on my own, by my own strength, and all that happened is I grew deeper and deeper into my addiction, into my alcoholism. Alone, trying to go at it alone. DUIs, man. I'm just going to say it. Thank God for DUIs. They've opened up so many eyes. Keep it up, Highway Patrol and those enforcements. But, man, waking up, hearing that door close behind me again after I had tried to be someone in higher education and I was managing businesses. I had, again, North Dakota, I mean, there's resource, there's opportunity. But hearing that door close behind me that last time, man, it was just tough. I sobered up. I woke up. Before I saw the judge, I had just thought about what I needed to do, and I remembered that actually DUIs. Thank God for DUIs. My first one, I got my assessment at the UND Counseling Center, and it was raw. It was real. It was true to me. I was honest, and I had thought about what that lady, Marlis, had said, and I need help. I thought about that, man, and I had a very life-changing faith experience at this point. A lot of things had shed. A lot of my addictions had shed, but I couldn't put that bottle down, and it was getting tough. So it was in that jail cell that I made the decision, when I get out of here, I'm going to go to that counseling center, regardless of fear, shame. Everybody's gonna know why I'm going there. There's more than a counseling center at McCannell Hall, by the way, but in my mind, then it's like they're all gonna be judging me, right? But I made that courageous decision, and I walked through the doors, man. And
I'm glad that you did, Nate, and I'm glad that they were there for you. And thank you to UND for keeping that asset available to students. So you get into counseling, you start to make changes, you start to make a shift in your life, and you have this realization, I need to go back.
Yeah. So initially, man, I walked into the counseling center, and man, it is amazing to see what is happening up there. And Jim Murphy Lane opened up. That's a name that many of you know, and that is just, I feel honored and privileged to know that name. And I actually walked in there as recently, but walking in there as a student, it was good. I had the services to keep me grounded. I had my man Tom Solom. I mean, just one-on-one, man. That guy has been he's a dear friend, and was very raw and very real for me. But yeah, I walked in, I met them actually, and this wonderful man with a grandfather heart, Jim Murphy, I have his card because he gave it to me over 10 years ago, right? And he introduced me to Tom, and he wrote an appointment on there. This was a Monday because it was the weekend, so I had to see the judge on Monday. But I walked in there, and I made an appointment for August 17th, 2012. That Tuesday I drank, but that Wednesday was the first day I met Tom. And it was the first day that I woke up sober forever, God willing, right? So, yeah, it's amazing, the counseling center and everything they do, man. It's been a place of restoration for me. Definitely changed my major, changed my thought process, and I had the support I needed to be a productive student.
That's awesome, Nate. Let's fast forward. We got a couple minutes left. Let's fast forward to like after you changed your major, you're a student, and you saw a need on campus. What sort of things, what have you been able to bring to UND in your capacity as a student?
So coming back as a student, I was sober, and it was different. It was new. I knew some people from my faith community, but I didn't have my tribe on campus, man. I hadn't met the people in my, I'd switched majors to social work, but I was still doing some prereq stuff. But I knew I wasn't alone. I knew I couldn't be alone. I couldn't be the only one, right? So I was telling my man Tom about it, and he says, dude, there's this conference in Reno. It's like about collegiate recovery community and like peer support based, like students themselves leading stuff. And what I heard was, my man, you want to send me somewhere so I could do your job, right?
And can we just recognize the irony of a recovery conference in Reno? I've been to Reno. Recovery's not the first thing that comes to mind, but.
My man, yeah. I mean, I didn't know what to expect, but I was blown away. Association of Recovery in Higher Education, thank you. I left inspired. Campuses and colleges across the nation were just being open, faces and voices of recovery. Be the voice. Don't be afraid. I left there with the courage to come back and tell my story outside of a basement closet. And that was big for me. I saw people like leaving lives, students, like more than just in recovery, but leaders in recovery doing big things on their campus as part of like being recognized. And that was just amazing, man. I was, inspired. So I came back just, Tom was, man, he thought I was going crazy, but I wanted to do it, and we didn't have time to lose. I mean, early that semester, we littered the old Memorial Union with some flyers. Are you or anyone you associated with or close to been affected by mental health or recovery? That first meeting, I mean, the interest meeting, right? I was expecting a few. We had over 10 students and about 18 faculty and staff that showed up. I knew we were onto something. So, through that, it was a lot of peer support based, wanted to know how do we get recognized? And well, through a CRC, you have to be a couple years, but there's the University of North Dakota and their involvement, Office of Student Involvement. So I said, how do we I want to become a recognized student org. And like for what? For students in recovery. They're like, okay. It takes about 3 semesters, gain some interest, get some officers, write some bylaws, constitution, faculty advisor. But again, man, those people in recovery, we're caffeinated. We got it done in one. We got it done in one, man. Record timing.
That's amazing. And Nate, after getting to know you, that doesn't surprise me with your energy. If you work with students, if you work around students, if you work in this community, I want to encourage you, not to pimp you out, Nate, but I want to encourage you to grab him sometime during this conference. This guy has got a ton of resources, and he has a heart for people in recovery. One thing that stuck with me during our early conversation was everybody has a seat at the table, and he believes that, and you talk to him and you can feel that. Nate, before we jump off the stage, I just want to end. What's a positive that recovery's brought to your life that you want people to know?
Man, too many, but just one big one is just this, to be able to do this, to be able to give back, to have a seat at the table at an institution like UND, but to have a seat at the table within my community and to know that I can be the difference maker, that I can be the change that someone made in my life. It is huge. It is astronomical. And to know that I can even, if I can be a little piece of that, collectively, together, I love bringing interagency exchange, right? As a community, we're stronger and better together. But just doing that, connecting people, man, and loving people. Just remember, be nice to one another because we're always feeling something.
Amen, brother. Recovery Reinvented. Let's give it up for Nate. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, guys.